The Israeli military base in Ashdod, once regarded as a stronghold of coastal defense infrastructure, has become the focus of global attention after the recent bombardment carried out by Qatar. The base, which was designed with multiple layers of fortifications and cutting-edge surveillance systems, now presents an entirely different picture, one of structural damage, functional disruption, and strategic vulnerability. To understand the condition of this base, it is important to look closely at how its design elements were supposed to function, what unique selling points made it a crucial part of Israel's defense network, and how the bombardment has changed its performance capabilities in practice. The Ashdod base was never just another military outpost. It was positioned in a location of high strategic importance, guarding the coastal access points, and serving as a logistical and command hub for both naval and ground operations. Its architecture reflected a blend of hardened concrete shelters, underground bunkers, and reinforced hangars meant to withstand aerial strikes. Cutting-edge radar systems, advanced anti-aircraft batteries, and drone detection technology made it a cornerstone of Israel's integrated defense network. The internal layout was designed for rapid deployment, with runways for helicopters, fortified vehicle storage, and command centers that could coordinate not only local operations, but also regional responses. This was part of its unique selling point, ability to act as a forward operating command, linking ground, sea, and air assets in real time. When the bombardment struck, the first element to be tested was the defensive shield. While the Iron Dome and other interception systems have been heavily relied upon in past conflicts, the volume and precision of this strike demonstrated weaknesses. Several missiles penetrated the outer perimeter, causing direct hits to ammunition depots, vehicle hangars, and communications facilities. This revealed that while the base was designed for layered defense, the balance between offensive readiness and defensive resilience was not evenly distributed. The radars and control towers, once regarded as highly reliable, were partially disabled, which drastically reduced situational awareness in the immediate aftermath of the strike. One of the most notable conditions following the bombardment is the visible destruction of the hardened bunkers. Although they were built with reinforced concrete and steel mesh to absorb shock, direct impacts left them fractured and partially collapsed. This shows the limitation of static defense architecture in the face of modern precision weaponry. The command centers, which relied on uninterrupted communications and redundancy systems, experienced severe downtime due to both physical destruction and electronic disruption. Fiber optic links, antenna arrays, and satellite uplinks were cut off or rendered unstable. In practical terms, this meant that the base could not function as a command control hub, stripping it of one of its key operational selling points. From a performance perspective, the mobility assets suffered considerably. Dozens of armored vehicles, transport trucks, and artillery systems stored within the base were destroyed or heavily damaged. Burnt-out shells of tanks and missile launchers now line areas that were once meticulously organized vehicle bays. This loss not only impacts local operational capability, but also the broader logistical chain. Since the Ashdod base was a storage and resupply point for operations deeper inside Israel, the air assets, including helicopters stationed at the base, were either destroyed in their hangars or grounded due to damaged fueling and maintenance facilities. Without air support, the defensive radius of the base shrinks drastically, leaving surrounding regions more vulnerable. Another element that stands out is the damage to the living quarters and support infrastructure. The base housed hundreds of personnel and barracks designed for both safety and efficiency. However, the bombardment inflicted severe damage to these residential blocks, leading to high casualties and displacing surviving soldiers to temporary shelters. The medical facilities, which were meant to provide immediate care in combat scenarios, were overwhelmed, highlighting a weakness in scalability under heavy attack conditions. The psychological effect on personnel is also significant, as the sense of invulnerability that such a fortified base was supposed to provide has been shattered. When considering design elements, one must note that the Ashdod base incorporated both traditional and modern approaches. Its underground bunkers, fuel depots, and ammunition silos represented a Cold War-era philosophy of protection through concealment and reinforcement. In contrast, its integration of digital command networks, advanced surveillance, and rapid deployment zones reflected 21st-century warfare strategies. However, The bombardment demonstrated how these two approaches, while powerful on paper, can become liabilities when the adversary uses precision-guided munitions and electronic warfare tactics in tandem. A closer inspection of the wreckage also reveals the vulnerability of critical energy and resource supplies. Power plants within the base, including backup generators, were struck, causing blackouts across multiple sectors of the installation. Fuel reserves, once carefully protected, ignited in massive fireballs after being hit, compounding the destruction and creating secondary explosions. This cascading effect highlights the interconnectedness of base infrastructure. When one system fails, others quickly follow. The smoke plumes from burning fuel and ammunition spread for miles, creating both a visual marker for ongoing bombardment and a hazardous environment for any rescue or recovery efforts. Despite this destruction, it is important to recognize some elements that remained intact or partially functional. Certain hardened shelters absorb blasts without collapsing entirely, proving that layered fortification still has value against less direct hits. Parts of the surveillance network also survived, though limited, allowing partial monitoring of surrounding airspace. Emergency protocols, including evacuation tunnels and escape routes, functioned as intended, allowing some personnel to move to safer zones during the height of the assault. These elements underline that, while the base suffered devastating losses, not every aspect of its design was rendered obsolete. The unique selling point of the Ashdod base was always its ability to act as a versatile multi-domain hub ground, sea, and air defense tied together with advanced digital networks. After the bombardment, that selling point is compromised but not erased. Engineers and military analysts now face the task of evaluating how the remnants can be rebuilt or repurposed. Do they double down on hardened architecture, or do they pivot toward greater mobility and dispersion to avoid concentrated losses? This question is central to the lessons that the Ashdod base now presents to military strategists worldwide. For lay observers, the condition of the base paints a stark picture. Images of twisted steel, collapsed bunkers, scorched earth, and burning vehicles speak louder than technical specifications. Yet behind these visuals lies a deeper story about the evolution of warfare, where no fortress is completely safe, no matter how technologically advanced. The Ashdod base represents both the pinnacle of Israeli defensive engineering and the vulnerability of modern military hubs when confronted with persistent, precise, and coordinated bombardment.